I'm glad we were able to bring some value. And today, the last session we got, I get to have it with my man, Mr. Reece, who we are now calling our COO. And what's really cool is this guy is like my right-hand man. He's super special to me. Not just because he's my kid, but I've watched him grow up in this industry, and I've really been impressed with how much product knowledge he has, how much operational efficiency and organization and knowledge from an operations side that he is just on his own taken that, like, his knowledge level to just like the highest level. I've been you're 29 years old, Reece, getting ready to have a birthday here. What, another couple months?
March,
right?
March.
It's coming up. And it's really my privilege for me to be here to do an interview with Reece, because, like I said, he's my right-hand man. He's our COO, and he definitely knows his stuff. You definitely started your window cleaning career back at the age of 15. Remember when we threw you on a truck? I think Randy was one of the guys he was with. And you were definitely learning the ropes. You learned it from Randy and some of the other guys that were out there. And now that you're getting ready to turn about 30, or you're getting ready to turn 30 in March, you've done an amazing job of helping me as an operations leader. You've mastered building service vehicles. We got one out there that Reece has literally put together. You definitely know all the tools, equipment, and the services like the back of your hand. I mean, he just knows it, okay? And I'm really proud of that. Because it's not just me that helped him get to where he's at, but Reece took it upon himself to learn more, educate himself, understand what the customers want, understand customer relationships, understand the importance of accounting. And listen, did I teach you all of that? Did Melissa teach you all of that? Did you go through the school of hard knocks?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
A lot.
And what's cool, man, is when he sees something that's wrong, he knows that you guys are having a problem with it. If he's dealing with it, if he's working on it, he's seeing it, man, there's a problem here. Maybe he's headed it off for you, right? But that's what's cool about Reece, okay? Not just because he's my kid. We talk, he'll get mad at me, this, that, and the other. But you know what's cool is he will actually come to me with the problem and say, hey, this is how we fix it. You got a problem here, we got to fix it. This is another problem, we got to fix it. This is how we're going to fix it. And I trust him, and I think you guys trust him when you talk to him, that he's here to serve you guys, he's here to help you guys, and he wants you guys to succeed. Do you guys get that sense from him? Okay, cool. So anyways, I can go on for days talking about how good he is. He's really made me proud. We all know he's got a nice wife, Sarah. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here today. I wish she could have been. Got a son, Brock. Brock's 3, getting ready to turn 4.
Yeah, he's getting ready to turn 4.
Yep, and then we got a new baby girl on the way, right?
Yep, in June.
June. Don't know what the baby's name is, but hopefully it'll start with a G.
Hopefully it'll start.
So, but anyways, how does it feel to have an entire crowd of people excited to hear you speak today?
No, fantastic.
Okay, good deal. All right, see, one word, right? He's just direct. Where did you learn that from? Where'd you learn your directness from?
You.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, that is a good answer. So I remember the days when Reece was a teenager, trying to figure things out, holding the squeegee in his hand, learning from these guys like Randy. I think you were running route in Wilmington after you graduated high school, right?
Yeah, I would do route after school, actually. I wouldn't do a full route, but I'd take just a stack of papers and go get it done.
Okay. And did you meet Sarah while you were working on route?
Yeah. We did like a tanning salon and then, Planet Fitness, so.
Okay. Now, thinking about back to those early years that where you were starting after school and even in the summertime, you were doing it full time. What's one lesson that stuck with you and helped you lead so effectively? Because he's a really good leader, right? I think you guys can attest to that. Like, you call him and he'll talk to you and he'll give you some good guidance and direction. And I see it with his teams in Charleston. You definitely have developed some good leadership skills. So what is one lesson that really stuck with you that helped you be able to lead so effectively?
That stack of work had to get done.
The stack of work had to get done.
So with that being said, you relay that to your team of like that, there's just no quit. It's got to get done at the end of the day. no matter how late it is, you just got to keep pushing. And that was just one thing that, I feel like has always been instilled, especially, I know it sounds silly, but with route, like I said, that stuff had to get done. It was on a recurrence. So just emphasizing that, and it all started there.
Gotcha. Cool. So tell everybody here, right? I mean, you guys could probably only imagine, but what was it like growing up under the watchful eye of me and Melissa, especially when it came to throwing you on a truck and saying, hey, go tackle these jobs, go tackle these chores, and hey, do a good job at it?
There's never a dull moment. And I was always doing something. So, there's no wasted time, I guess is the best way to put it. Which leads into other things that we'll talk about. But yes, there was never a dull moment.
Yeah, so we always stayed busy, right?
Yes.
Reece, we always kept him busy, right? And so we knew that we needed to basically develop a child into a leader, right? So that he could take care of himself, right? He could fend for himself. He could be successful. And you knew at 18 you had a couple of choices. What were those two choices?
Pretty much get out and go figure it out and, pave your own way, which was, you got bills and it's time to be an adult. So that was it.
And that figure it out, right? And I think when you listen to Reece talk to you guys, or you guys call him and ask for help, sometimes he'll say what? Figure it out, right? But he'll still give you the information that you need. He's going to give you guidance, but he's definitely saying, hey, listen, I know, he knows when he has confidence in you. When he says that, I think he really knows he has confidence that you're going to figure it out, and he's going to give you the guidance. And so, because I know that he's done a good job about learning the skill, understanding the mastery of window cleaning, understanding the pressure washing. And you're a mechanical kid. He's always been mechanical. He's always liked tinkering on stuff. And so I think that really helps when it comes to the pressure washing side of things, because he definitely has more knowledge about pressure washers, pressure washing, all of that than I do. And I've been in this industry since I was 17, right? And I can really say I can pass the torch to him, because he knows more about pressure washing and that side of it than I do. And I'm really proud of the fact that he knows that, right? And he's taken it upon himself. I haven't pushed that on you, have I?
No, that's another one of those. I figured it out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So one of the questions that I get asked the most, or kind of sometimes I'll get a complaint about, is like operational efficiency. Okay. Talk to us about how can we be more efficient, and then talk also about the big three things that really matter to me, and I think matter to the majority of our customers, and that is consistency, training, and communication. Okay, so how does consistency, training, and communication create efficiencies in our operations and success for these franchisees?
Oh man, that's a lot to unpack.
We got all night.
Yeah, no kidding. You can talk about consistency, so we can start with that. That is what your customers expect, is consistency when they call us. So how do we instill that in our guys? You train them. You are constantly emphasizing the importance of things to them, of what our standard is and what we expect, and making sure that they are knowledgeable, and you're working with them, and being a good leader. I mean, it's a lot of development, a lot of mentorship. I feel like that goes into it, to just provide or be consistent in what we do. What were the 5 million other things on the list that you had? Consistency. Like I said, training.
Consistency, training, and communication. But no, he did say
training. You talk about training. So you every day you should be essentially training. I know we see these guys. I know we talk to them. But it one-on-one training. I know everyone. Gabe's a big fan of just trying to kill two birds with one stone by getting everybody together. But sometimes those guys, they're really receptive to just that one-on-one intimacy of training. Like, hey, go out to a job, pick up a ladder, pick up a squeegee, show them what's going on, bring some, work through a problem with them together. And if you get some product knowledge or something like that, that's exciting to you, whether it's, these new chemicals that we are learning about, get excited, take it back to the office, test with them, incorporate them into it. And that's so huge. Like, the green ox, like that. I was so excited about that. And that all actually started from one of our guys, just getting a simple sample from, Ron. No, it was actually Ron at the time. Ron gave us a sample. And they brought it back to the office, and I was like, man, this might be the magic pill we're looking for decks, because we were struggling so long with how to get them perfectly clean. And it got everybody excited and fired up, and now, guys want to do decks now. But that group training, sometimes can be good. It's a team, it's a bonding activity. But training, guys want to feel like they're continuously learning too. It's important today, like we're learning as a group about these things. And our employees, our technicians, they want to feel the same. They don't want to feel just kind of like they just come in, do the same thing every day, and move on, and nothing improves. So that's a good, it all goes back to leadership. Training is part of that, and these guys want to be taught and mentored.
He said that twice now. What was the word he said? Mentor. He said mentorship in the beginning, and then he said mentored, right? And it comes back to that training. See how he's talking about it. He's definitely incorporating the training with mentorship, and that's the sign of a true leader. Okay, when you can mentor somebody and educate them so that they can get better, they win, right? And then who wins? Reece as well, right? Or you, Randy, when you're mentoring your guys, right? I know you love your guys, right? Because I can feel it in your voice. I can hear it in your voice. I can hear it in your words when you send me an email, right? But that's a good thing, right? You gotta mentor your guys, right? And you gotta be able to train them, right? To be efficient, to be successful, right? That's the sign of a true leader. And so I know I trained you on some of that. I taught you some of that. He grew up with me. Come on, he was going to get it, right? But he has taken it to another level. I haven't really said anything to you about mentorship at all, right? But he has taken it upon himself to say, hey, listen, I gotta love and I gotta nurture these people, and I gotta mentor them as well. And that's why he's in the role that he's in. Okay, because I have complete confidence in this guy that he can definitely help all of you out, and he wants to help you out. Okay, so he's already given us some good advice. What I hope you guys take away as, hey, let's get your guys right, tight, and thriving by being good leaders. Now, customer communication is definitely an important thing to teach and train. Right?
Absolutely.
How do you train? How do you mentor? How do you communicate to your service personnel the importance of communicating before the job starts, during the job, after the job? Let's walk through that whole communication process.
Yes. So you kind of role play. I know it sounds a little corny, but you don't have to be super goofy about it. You try, and I like to sometimes reverse engineer things. And so it's like, here's the goal, where we want to end up. How do we get there? And let's walk it back from there. I think that works phenomenally. So, in the mornings, having those conversations with your guys, and just kind of, looking at those notes, seeing if, hey, it's a new customer, this is what's going to go on. This is probably what's going to take place there. And kind of role playing with them of like, hey, what's going to happen, if you just show up and give them a ballpark price, and then you walk around the back of the house and realize that, whoa, there's way more glass than we anticipated. And you got to go back and look like an idiot and say, hey, the price has got to go up, You go through that scenario, what it looks like, and say, see how that didn't end up too well, and I, as the customer, am not going to be too happy. And then constantly emphasizing those communication skills, and just ultimately role playing. I think that's really healthy for these guys to do, because they aren't just going to figure it out on their own. And you constantly, you can tell them just like, well, go just figure it out, and then they're going to get all upset with you. So it all goes back to leadership. But yeah, no, communication with customers is absolutely important.
Yeah. It is.
And coaching it. Picking up on, like teaching them how to pick up on body language and stuff like that. Like, you don't have to go super in depth with it, but you definitely, kind of just say, hey, pick up on some subtle hints that the customer gives you of like, hey, they are not happy with the water-fed pole system. They're just old school boomers that are like, this is how it's going to be done, and there's no selling on anything else. And it's just pick up on that. Don't just try and bulldoze your way through that problem. That's important. So yeah, I think constantly role playing is a big thing with these, and then reviewing the feedback. That's another thing. If you can sense that your guys are doing a good job, and it's great with our customers that text in the House Call Pro and stuff like that, and say, hey, the guys did a good job. They were very polite. Well, then you can build off of that and say, what you guys did at this job worked, and it worked very well. And so keep doing that. And I mean, I can give plenty of examples.
So what you're saying is, and it comes back to mentorship, giving them feedback, patting them on the back, telling them what they did well at, and also making sure that you correct them when they were making a mistake, right? And you're doing that through daily huddles, your daily interaction with your leaders, right? And see, remember, we have a lot of leaders, and I'm proud of saying that in our organization, we've got a lot of leaders because, right, I'm a leader, right? You guys are looking to me, right? You guys come to me if there's a problem and you want the answer, and I'm here to happy to help you, okay? You're now also looking to Reece, right? If you got an accounting problem, you're looking over there to Melissa, okay? You guys have resources that you can utilize. And so that happens because all of us know that we get in front of our employees or our key people every single day, and we have what's called a huddle. We talk to them, we mentor them, we lead them with information, we communicate with them. Because if you teach one of your guys how to be a very good communicator with your customers, right? He really wins. Yeah, you're gonna win too, but he really wins the most because the next time he has a tough conversation with his girlfriend, maybe he's gonna have a tough conversation with his mom or dad, maybe he's gonna have a tough conversation trying to get a better deal on a car or a place to live, right? Those things are going to really allow him to be successful in those relationships as long as you're mentoring him. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you seen that happen with working with your guys and your service personnel down there in Charleston?
Yeah, no, I mean, and I talk to these guys. I talk to them on a personal level. I figure out what's going on in their lives and things like that. And those are the same things that I, tell them is, you don't know, for example, what that customer is going through on today. They could have had the worst day of their life. Their dog could have died. I mean, heck, we were cleaning windows at a house and the dog died while we were at the house. That's extremely awkward. I mean,
this guy's like, whoa.
It's extreme. So, that just ruined the day. So now you got to navigate your way through that, and communication skills do that. Like I said, picking up on body language.
Yeah, we don't want to say that.
It was talk about an awkward situation, but we go back to mentorship. I try and figure out, say if somebody's hey man, I'm going to go buy a truck. Okay, well I'll talk to you and try and help you out. I get you try and do this, try and negotiate this. Just having those conversations with the guys, being really personable and available. Being very available, I think, is important.
Yeah, it is. I agree with you. So you spoke a little bit about training. So when you're training your guys and you're mentoring them, you're making sure that you're giving them good quality feedback, right? So when they do a good job, you're patting them on the back.
If you only yell at them when they do bad and don't give them any positivity when they do good, they're going to have no clue where they're going right at. They're just going to be like a chicken with their head cut off. So
how about on that? And that's a great point. But how about on the other side, right? How about when they do something absolutely incorrectly? They don't put the pressure washer away properly, or they don't strap a ladder down on a truck, or they leave the cap off the sodium hypochlorite containers, right? There's all these things that you guys see that goes on all the time and you guys get frustrated with, right? How do you handle situations like that?
So what we'll do, we will address it, and it's not just a very stern talking to and yelling at them. It's we'll bring them to the side or whatever the case is, if it needs to be a one-on-one. But nonetheless, we are looking at the problem and walking through it the first time as a training incident or like a learning experience. I tell everybody this, but that first mistake, we're going to learn from it. Whether it's on a customer's house, whether it's on the truck, it doesn't matter. We're going to learn from it, we're going to get better, and we're going to make it right. But if you're consistently making that issue or mistake, then it really needs to be addressed. It's going to be a one-on-one conversation. It's probably going to be, you might have to fire someone if it's a consistent problem, and that's tough. But we like to learn from our mistakes. Ultimately, that's I think an extremely key thing, and explain to them why the issue is an issue. Because to these guys and to some of these folks, it's just they don't think about it. They're just like, well, what's the big deal? It's a bleach cap. It's 25 cents. It's not that big of a deal. But then you have to explain all the follow-ups as to why it can be a potential problem. And not to mention, it's a respect thing. I think respect is huge. It's it goes a long way with the guys. I respect them. They should respect me. It should be a two-way street here. And, disrespecting things such as equipment, is just disrespecting me. I don't do that to you. And so I'm not happy with it. Same thing with the customers, definitely don't be disrespectful to customers. That's their home. That is their pride and joy. So take care of that. It's very tough for these folks. And that's another thing you talk about training. A lot of folks don't realize how much our customers spend on their homes. So it doesn't compute in their head. And I don't fault them for it. I think I've had to explain to customers before, like, hey, they didn't grow up in fortunate like this. So I'm sorry, but they don't know that you have, $10,000 in outdoor rugs right here. Like, I apologize. We'll make sure everything's handled. But, they would never know that. They've not come from a household like that. So don't get too mad at them. We will make sure we train and it never happens again.
So again, see how now we're continue talking about mentorship, right? And now he's talking about respect, right? Do your employees respect you? Do they respect your customers as well, right? They only do that if you respect them as well, right?
Absolutely.
Right? And so by giving them information, teaching them how to communicate better, teaching them just different skills other than the skill of cleaning a window is extremely important.
Absolutely.
Right? And so if I would have just taught you the skill of cleaning windows and nothing else, where do you think this young man would be today?
Still be on the truck.
Dude, we'd be cleaning Red Robin, doing it around first thing in the morning.
So, but see, and I'm fortunate enough to be able to talk to Reece about this because, like I said, he's 15, I'm 50, what's the math?
14 years.
Yeah, almost 15, right? But see how he's then taken those skills that I've given him and he's turned it over into his employees. And he's got guys that stay a long time.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, Connor's been with us since he was, 17,
we
18?
were in high school, so,
yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Yep. And there's value in that, okay? You definitely want to have employees that can stay with you for a long term, right? Because they're growing with you and you can watch them grow. They're like kids. Okay, so having good communication skills with your team, teaching your teams how to communicate with your customers, having that good conversations between both of you. Hey, listen, yeah, you made a mistake today, right? But I'm gonna teach you how not to make it tomorrow. Okay, so all of this stuff is super important because it allows you guys to be successful in your own backyard. Take these things that we're talking to you guys about away with you after tomorrow and put it to use. Okay, let's talk about customer engagement. Let's get into our customers, right? So he's already started teaching his guys, mentoring his guys, communication, respect. We're going down that road. He's loving them, he's nurturing them, he's developing them, okay? How do you teach your service personnel to engage with a customer before the job starts?
I could use the example today. I mean, we had a quote and I'm not in town and Connor's not around. So I had, one of our guys, Dylan, go do a new construction quote for an extremely, extremely big property downtown. And, the things I told him to do is, address the individual on site, tell him who you're with, make sure you're polite. Not that he's not a well-spoken, polite gentleman, but these are the things that I'm constantly reiterating. And just giving them those customer service tips on how to engage the customer. Because if you just assume they're going to do it, it's probably not going to happen, and then you're going to be upset whenever it doesn't happen. And then ultimately, I think you have no one to blame but yourself, and look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, the tech isn't the problem. You need to assume responsibility as you didn't teach them. I think that it all starts with you. But engaging it, engaging the customer.
So you heard me talk about this quite a bit. Yes or no? Engagement, right? Engaging the customer. Are you guys taking that as a negative or a positive? Okay. How do I want the customer to be engaged? If I'm the customer, how would I like to be engaged?
Communication.
I know, but what's that look like? You're going to communicate.
Respect your customer.
I understand, but
good personality.
the physicality of it, right? It's a phone call on the way out that says, hey, Randy, this is Gabe. I'm your service technician. I'm getting ready to come over to your home. I'm going to stop at the store and grab myself some water, as well as for my service boy that's with me. Do you mind if I stop and grab you a Coke as well? Would you like me to bring you something? That's engagement. How many questions did I just ask Randy? Yeah, see, everything was a question, and I never stopped. I just kept asking you questions. I gave you some direction. I told you what I was going to do, but I started asking you questions, right? That's engagement. And the engagement that's what I'm talking about. That engagement allows your personnel the opportunity to really know what the customer wants, okay? Just because a customer calls and says they want their windows cleaned, what does that mean? Do they just want their windows cleaned? Have they had their windows cleaned before? If they did, why did they call us? What did they like? What didn't they like? What could have been better? But see how when they start, and you teach them how to ask those questions because you love them and you mentor them and you nurture them and you respect them and you're teaching them respect, they start to love your customers for you. They show up at the home with a Coca-Cola in hand, even though the customer said, no, thank you. But that now shows the customer that this guy did what he said he was going to do. I'm going to stop at the store. I'm going to grab some water. I'm going to get a Coke for you. And he shows up and says, yeah. Now they believe what they see, not what they heard on the phone. Okay, and that's something that he's done a really good job at. We didn't just start this like years ago, right? It's built up to this. Okay, and so I brought him in so that he can teach you the power of that and understand what the engagement is so that you guys would do it, teach your guys, and then you're gonna get to a completely another level, okay? I've been really proud of him because he has gotten to another level, okay? He's done a really good job. I gotta say it, man. I mean, he's a rock star. But that engagement with those clients, man, on his side is really, really good. We don't have customer complaints. We don't have issues. His guys are very successful. They get really, really, really big tips. And you know what? And when they do make a mistake, they start to own up to it, okay? But it starts with engaging with that client and him teaching them how to engage that client. They're asking the questions. And he started off with that. Hey, they don't just do a halfway pre-job walkthrough. They're going through and walking through with the customer. Yes or no?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Every job, make sure you and the customer on the same page. I think that's key. And that all starts with conversations and questions and things like that and engaging that customer when you get out there, but emphasizing that to the guys. And it will slowly become habit, but just because it becomes habit doesn't mean you can just stop telling them.
Yeah.
You gotta be very sincere when communicating with these folks. Don't just say, hey, yeah, go talk to the customer today. Make sure you're communicating with them. That's not sincere. It's just going to go in one ear and out the other. But if they see you engaging them, looking them in the eyes, actually having that conversation, and they can see that it means something to you and you're sincere about it, they're going to take it to heart and they're going to do it. And like I said, as long as you just stay consistent, going back to that, it'll help you end up in a positive place.
Yeah.
It'll help everybody end up in a positive place.
So can you see can you see both sides of the coin? Do you see the problems that's created when the service technicians don't do that personal engagement prior to getting to the job versus the customers that do get that personal engagement?
It's clear as day when you can see that there's lack of communication and there's a problem. You don't really even have to dig too much into what the actual problem, because I don't think
it's more than just a streak on a window.
Exactly. It's extreme. It just shows its head clear as day as to say, hey, the breakdown in communication was at X, and then you address it with the technician and help them understand why it went south versus, like I said, just chopping their head off. Now, like I said, if it's a consistent issue, that's a whole different problem. But if it's a once in a blue moon thing, it's a good learning experience, and I like to address it with the whole team. It's usually a following morning thing. Hey, bring everybody in. We're all having a conversation. This is what went on yesterday, and this is why it happened. This is how we can get better and not have it happen again. And so every day you're learning something. Every day you're coaching and mentoring and teaching these folks something, because they are an extension of you out there in the field.
That's exactly right. I know I walked in the other day on Lewis's Tuesday service tech meeting, right? Is it a common practice that I just walk in on your Tuesday service technician meetings? No. And I took it over, right? Not because Lewis was doing a bad job. What did we talk about?
This last tech meeting,
When I
communication.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All
all things communication, engaging the customer. Pretty sure that's pretty much it.
Remember how I told them about that $1 Coke and they could basically 100x
The
it?
investment, yeah.
It's an
$1
investment,
Coke.
right? See, I started teaching them about investment. 100x. You spend $1, you get 100. 100x, okay? Would you spend $1, Randy, if you knew that you could make 100? Okay, is that a good investment? Okay, is that a good return? Okay, and see, that's the thing that you can do with your guys. When you talk to them daily, like Reece is talking about, when you physically talk to them face to face, it is important, right? Your guys, Blake, you have guys that you talk to every single day. You see them face to face, right? And I know because he talks to me all the time about this mentorship. I'm trying to lead these guys. I'm trying to train them. I'm trying to get them better, you know? And he gives me these different examples. But man, think about it. They definitely understand 100x. Your team understood 100x when I said it. It was like a light bulb went off on the whole. I mean, there was a room. How many? There was what? 8 guys back there? 8 or 9 guys? I mean, there was a big crowd. The room was full. So, but man, it was like light bulb went off. Bink. They never thought of it, right? Because nobody communicated that to them. And that's where the power is. Again, I'm telling you, we go to the next level when you get your service personnel communicating with customers. Communication, would you agree? Communication is the world's #1 problem.
Yes.
It's the biggest problem in the world. Wars are started over lack of communication. People die because of lack of communication. Good example was today, this morning. Reece woke up, we were downstairs, he told me, hey, freaking about 60 people died because of lack of communication. Did you hear about that? Yeah, it's playing in what, DC?
Yeah, playing in a helicopter.
And a helicopter.
Military helicopter.
Not communicating, okay? You see, now 60 people lost their lives, and that means 120 people are gonna be affected. Mommy and daddy, and their kids, right? It's probably gonna be a lot more, okay? So, and I'm not trying to paint an extreme picture for you guys. I just want you guys to understand that, hey, we don't want those situations to happen for any of our teammates, our team members, you guys as franchisees, location owners. I mean, I don't want any of that for you. So it's our job to make sure that we're pushing enough communication to you so that you guys can communicate with your guys in a proper way. Lead them, build them, nurture them. Hey, have them be successes, okay? You gotta develop leaders, but it means you gotta spend some time with them, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so now, let's go on to some fun stuff, right? This is fun, right? I hope you guys are getting some super good value out of it. But it's a conversation that needs to be had because it's conversations that we have with our employees every single day. Lewis has it every single day. Okay, Blake's having it. You know, y'all are, right? But you got to understand, this is probably the most important thing that you can do to really set yourself up for getting customers, more customers, right? Because when your customers become a raving fan, what do?
They're going to tell everybody.
Right, and when you don't do a great job or they don't see value,
they're going to 10x that and tell the whole world.
right? So wouldn't you rather your employees 100x $1 so that you could 10x your business? And you guys ask me all the time, hey man, we're a little slow, or hey, the lead's working, this, that, and I get it, man, and I take that to heart. I'm like, okay, cool, well, I'm going in, I'm looking, I'm searching, bang, 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 bang. Is there a problem, right? Some locations, no problem, right? But a lack of this. Okay, and I'm gonna come back to that, okay? Now, communicate some more with us. I wanna talk about equipment, fun stuff.
Boy.
Because everybody loves equipment. I know all you guys love equipment, right? That's why we do this, because we're physical guys, right? Isn't that what we do, JJ? We're physical, right? Right? We wanna work with hands. Randy, I know you're that guy too. You like working with your hands. You gotta be doing something, right? Okay, so, our equipment plays a huge role in all of our services that we provide. Yes or no? Yes. No. Yes, it does. Okay, you're right. All right. So this guy, like I said, man, he knows all of our tools way better than I do. Props to you. Okay. Now, walk us through some of the most important pieces of equipment all of our franchisees should be mastering.
Oh boy. Where to start?
Well, is it water-fed poles? Maybe it's soap dispensers.
I mean, the water-fed poles, you could start there. I mean, that, it seems so simple, but it really isn't. I mean, you listen to Hazen talk about you listen to Hazen talk about it, and it really isn't. And I'm kind of guilty of it. I like to think it's simple, but there is a lot to emphasize about it. Figuring out the right DI for the right environment you're in. testing that water, using the tools that we have to then make the correct purchase for the tools that we need to do the job. I think, everyone here today is going to help us do that for the future ultimately. But as far as like pressure washers go, utilizing, knowing how to work on that stuff, I think, and I've seen it, and I hate to call it out, but like Wilmington, it can put you in a bit of a bind, not knowing how to do just the simple things of taking care of that equipment. But emphasizing to the guys on how to take care of that equipment is so important, because take care of the things that make you money ultimately. And I emphasize that to our guys. Like if they're not taking care of something, we nip it in the butt, and I think I'll explain to them that it's a direct reflection of what they're going to make in their paycheck if that machine goes down. That's extremely important. But I think we do have kind of just a standard that we like to hold as far as what our machines are, what we found that works. We've kind of got that recipe that works, and I don't really want to differ too much from that. I'm open to different suggestions on machines and stuff like that, but as far as machines go, we know what we like, we know what works. As far as DIs go, I think we have a couple options there. The phaser, the Voyager, and in Pat's case, Pat might need something a little bit more robust because of the water there. That would be something that I would like to maybe open up a little bit as far as kind of have option A, B, and C depending on what suits you guys' needs. Maybe, I don't know.
So that's some good information, right? And I see Hazen writing that down right now. Right.
I think, the chemicals that we brought in today, I think, like I said, I wanted to do some testing on that because we have a recipe and we've just kind of stuck with that, but having a little bit broader selection, like I said, maybe some different options for some different scenarios would be better because, like I said, I feel like we've been doing the same thing for a while, and it's worked, and it still is working. But we're always trying to get better and improve. So I don't expect everybody to do all this testing. That's why I want to take it back. I want to do a lot of testing, and so I can give everyone that knowledge and say, hey, these are the solutions to some of these problems that we have. Oxidation, oil stains. Those. I feel like oil remediation has been something that's it's been top of my list to figure out because we don't use hot water. I don't think there really is too much of a need for hot water. A lot of service goes into it. It's a very expensive system. It's heavy. It's bulky. There's nothing great about it other than, it takes diesel. You get a guy that puts gas in a diesel machine. Like you're talking thousands of dollars right there. So I think becoming more efficient on the cold water side, it'll be a benefit. But those are the things that I enjoy. I enjoy, sharing that information. I'm pretty particular about, how my setups are. I think, even down to the truck and the appearance of the truck, what represents us well. Why go with a GMC over a Chevy? No offense to you Chevy guys. I've got my reasons. You Chevy guy over here.
Oh man.
But I have my reasons. It's the fine tuning of things that I feel like I've done and looked at. That truck is a representation of the company. We want to be, a step ahead of everyone else, and we don't want to just be that guy that looks average and ordinary showing up to a job. I think my guys, they actually love getting compliments on their trucks. It sounds silly. It's not their truck. They don't own it. But when they show up to a job and a customer can talk to them for 15, 20 minutes about, man, that's a cool truck. It looks nice. It's not a beat up, raggedy truck in my driveway that's probably going to leak some oil. I appreciate that. And they notice that. Like I do get that feedback from our crews. So
people believe what they see, not what they hear.
I take a lot of pride in that. Like, if our trucks look good, like I said, it represents us well. I'm very judgmental on those things when I see a competitor going down the road. And I can look at their equipment and just kind of laugh. It makes me smile. It lets me know that we at least are on the path to the right path, I think. But yeah, equipment's vital. Knowing how to take care of that equipment, teaching your guys how to take care of that equipment, and progressively getting better with our methods and what we incorporate.
So we've been talking about equipment And so I want to come back to the employees and some more equipment, but let's just talk about the squeegee, right? Me and Hazen talked about that for a pretty decent amount of time today. How hard is it that you guys find, do you guys find it hard to teach a new employee mastery of the squeegee? What's easy? You don't have a hard time? Okay. Mastery. I'm talking about mastery of the squeegee, right? Right?
You guys must be getting some good training and giving some good training.
Yeah, because these guys, what I see, and Joe can probably attest to this, what we see is the new guys don't know how to master the squeegee, but they definitely do a better job with the water-fed pole because it's a lot easier, right? So getting into, what have you done, Reece, in order for what do you do that gets, because he gets his guys up and running pretty daggone quick when it comes to squeegee, and I mean, like, they don't get callbacks, like, not from a new crew, right? So what is it that you're doing that gets these service technicians up and running quickly with a squeegee?
So whenever, well, we have, I'll just say this, we have a great team. I mean, they're phenomenal. We have a great group of guys, and we have, great crew leads that can teach.
Sorry to interrupt you. He says great group. How do you find those guys?
It's very tough.
It's a tough job.
It all starts with the interview process, and so with that interview process, we kind of have I have a little subtle joke that we joke about squeegees and how everyone thinks that's probably going to be the easiest part of the job. They're like, oh, it's just squeegeeing a window, and I tell them, I said, I understand that that's probably your assumption, but believe it or not, hand cleaning a window is going to feel completely foreign to you, as if if you're a right-hand dominant person, just pick up a pencil and start writing with your left hand. That's how different it is, and they think it's funny. They don't necessarily believe you at first, and
then they pick up a squeegee.
And then once you get them hired on and you give them a squeegee, you start walking them through how to clean a window. They look at you and go, oh, that's easy, and then you can just stand behind them and kind of get a good giggle as they try and clean a window and have a good time about it. But then they realize, okay, yeah, no, this is a little bit more difficult than I thought it was, and he might actually be right. And
you start that conversation before they even get the job.
It all starts in the interview process. It's not like we're just interviewing and hiring right off the bat. Like, that's definitely not how you build a good team. I think we've all been there and had to make a couple of hires like that. It is what it is. But ultimately, yes, it starts in that interview process, and then we'll work with them. But man, it goes back to that team too. Like you're relying on your team to help you out. It's not like I'm there 24/7, hand cleaning windows with these folks. I have a good team of folks. I've got a great group of guys. I let them know I appreciate them, and they help me out by coaching these guys up to speed. Now, if I do have to, I've done it before. I did it this past year, and the guys are still around with great success. But I have made it clear, if I know I don't have the availability from the team to train, that I'm going to invest as much time as I can in them in this 1 week. And it pays dividends, but that is an investment from you. And then those guys also see it's an investment from you. They appreciate that. They're like, wow, this guy took a week of his time when he's got, the whole world burning down to at least train me, versus just saying, here you go, figure it out, which is what a lot of folks like to do. But back to finding good people, you start by, it's just like anything else. You got to build it brick by brick. So you find one good guy, and then you build that relationship, establish that culture, and then you add with the next guy. But there's no secret formula. It starts with those interviews. You've got to bring them around, bring them into the environment. That's what I like to do. I like to do multiple interviews, but bring them around the other guys, because I tell the interviewees, and I tell them with conviction that, like, hey, I hold my technicians' opinions very seriously. If they tell me that they don't have a good feeling about this possible hire, then it's probably not going to work. Or if I listen to what they say, and I value it highly. And the interviewee and the employees both respect that, because everybody wants to be heard. Everybody likes whenever their opinions are heard and received. So I think it's positive, but I think it starts there. But that's where I start from, building a good team. It's not like I have this magic, pool of people to pull from.
It's pretty interesting. You remember it's a lot of respect. I mean, so
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive
it's-
that he does multiple interviews to find the right people. Even though he's short-handed and needs people, he is taking it upon himself to make multiple interviews to find the right guy and put him in front of his team, right? So that they can make the decision. And that's something that Lewis and I have talked about recently is have your employees that are good leaders get rid of the bad ones for you, right? If
Yep.
you do it properly, you will never, ever have to fire anybody. Okay?
Absolutely.
Because your team, if you build a good enough team that trusts you, loves your customers, wants to do well for you because you love them, then they will get rid of the bad apples. If for some reason you make a bad mistake and hire the wrong person, you have a solid team, that team will get rid of that bad apple.
And that's exactly how we've been operating. I mean, it's so true. You don't let the guys, like I said, take and value them highly and respect what they say, because they're the ones having the more, they're having those daily conversations out there in the field that you're not seeing. So when they give you feedback, now you will obviously know there's some people that are crying wolf. I'm sure everyone's got a couple people that just love to cry wolf. But nonetheless, they will weed out the weak and the people that aren't a fit. So you're going to build a culture, build a group of guys that you absolutely love and enjoy being around. That is going to be the culture, and then you're going to find the next puzzle piece that fits, and it just kind of keeps stacking from there. And that's really how we've got the guys that have stuck around for a while. I don't have that revolving door, and I make that very clear. I don't want that for anybody.
You said something powerful just a minute ago. He said, you love being around your guys.
Yeah.
Right? So he's not going to do you love what you do? Do you love what this running these operations?
It's a joy to come into work. I used to have those days.
You don't even think of it as a job.
No, I mean, I think you might have a customer that makes your day bad here and there, like we all do, but
you could have the same conversation with the lady in the McDonald's drive-through, right? She could be just as vulgar with you, right? So, but that's the thing, man. It's like you got to have employees, and you got to teach and mentor employees to be excellent at what they do, mentoring them, loving them, respectful, all of that stuff, so that you can enjoy going to work and do what you do every single day. I don't think I felt like window cleaning was a job after the age of maybe, 19, 20. We always had fun. I always had guys around me that I had fun with, man. It was cool. I mean, we'd go clean windows and we'd do this, that, and the other, man. But if I didn't like the guy, or if we had someone on our team we didn't like, man, we were just like, okay, I'm not going to work with that tomorrow. I'm not doing that, right? Because it was enjoyable, right? And so enjoy what you guys do, right? Because I think you guys wouldn't be here if you didn't enjoy the physicality of the work, right? Randy, did you like cleaning windows?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind cleaning windows? No. Lewis, I think you enjoyed cleaning windows, right? You don't clean many windows today.
No, not nearly.
Right? Okay. So, and Pat, I think you enjoy jumping off the side of a building, cleaning some glass, right? Okay. And everybody in here that has gotten JJ, I mean, you like doing it, didn't you? You'll still go and do it sometimes.
I still like watching my guys and then laugh at them and go do it faster than them. I don't squeeze it.
Right. Right. And so that's a cool thing, right? When you guys can go make money and enjoy it, it doesn't feel like a job. I just don't think I just feel like I say I work, man, but I'm just being productive, right? I like to produce, but I don't go to work. I don't go to work every day. I just go be productive. That's all I do, because I love my guys. I love you guys that are here. I enjoy being with you guys. I want everybody to kind of have that sense of being in our company, right?
Yeah.
And it starts with respect. It starts with communication. It leads on into mentoring these guys and having them develop the skills that you have literally taught them. Okay, don't you feel good about that with your guys?
Yeah.
Okay, and I think everybody, Blake, same way?
I like going out there and one thing that really made me happy the other day is I got a slow guy and a fast guy, and my guy that's been with me for about 8 months, he kept up with me the whole time, and I was getting into it. And
Oh,
I was like,
and see how it gets fun? Those are the JJ. You've had those fun moments, right? We've all had it, right? You start. Lewis, you've done that. You've gone out and you're like, these guys are complaining about something, and you have them and you just show them up, right? And now it's like a competitive thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And so that makes it. It doesn't really make this a job. It just makes it fun because I know all of you guys are competitive, right? Randy, Blake,
Oh yeah.
Pat?
I think Stannis might be better.
I mean, all of you guys are saying we wouldn't be doing this if we didn't have some competitive spirit, okay? And so utilizing that competitive spirit and harnessing it in a way that it benefits your team and it benefits your customers is a win for your customers. It's a win for your employees, and it inevitably becomes a win for you. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so all that is based on employees and teaching and mentoring employees and how you can do yourself a big solid favor by mentoring, loving your guys, teaching them, making sure that you're holding them accountable.
Yep.
Right? When they don't do their job, they don't do an aspect of the process, you have to hold them accountable. And it's hard to hold people accountable. Most people find it very hard to hold people accountable, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Do you guys find, come on, honestly.
They'll fight you on it.
Who's gonna fight you on it?
The employees.
The employees
They'll
will.
find 10,000 reasons why it's not their
You're
fault.
right. It's an excuse, right? Okay, yeah, and it's never fun. But if you don't hold them, JJ, if you never would have held your girls accountable for not checking both ways before they walk across the street, what inevitably is going to happen? Yeah, man, and you can have no little baby girl no more, right? And so that's why we hold them accountable. It's a hard thing to do. Nobody likes to have that conversation, but sometimes that conversation is going to save their life. Sometimes that conversation is going to save you a customer. Sometimes that conversation is going to get you more reviews than anybody else, and it's going to increase your business. Sometimes that conversation is going to get you guys more videos and photos so that you can rank higher on Google than anybody else. And it's holding them accountable. And you got to teach, mentor, and hold them accountable. And you do it in a respectful way. And that's what Reece does. And that's part of the reason why I think he does a really, really good job with all of you guys and everybody that we bring on. I think I've never had anybody, listen, I'm not just because he's my son, but hey, I enjoy being around him.
Reece usually yells at me.
Man. Now, moving on to something else, right? You guys understand, we're passionate about our employees. We're passionate about getting the processes done. We're passionate about making sure that they're loving the ones that they're with, okay? Now, let's love somebody else. Let's talk about our vendors, okay? We know that all of our vendors play, because I've been bringing them all in, and some of them just weren't able to make it, but they all play a crucial role in what makes all of our operations tick. Okay, can you talk a little bit about the partnerships that we have with our vendors and how franchisees can leverage those relationships to make sure that their businesses are running smooth and successfully?
Yeah, I think I touched on a little bit, but like for instance, Waterfed. I learned a bit today. And Hazen's a great resource for that. I'm a little guilty of not bringing some of the failures to you, but it's because I like to be mechanical and figure it out myself. Yeah, I know.
Like job description.
Yeah, I know. It's tough. I'm over here just struggling, figuring it out myself. But like I said, I'm guilty of it. But incorporating, I think that aspect and just the Waterfed alone would have answered so many questions if I should have just directed them to you. Because Pat's asking me about questions. You're asking about the lovely phaser. That you want to buy you want to buy 6 of them, I think. So he needs an order of 6 to his house, but
Can't you build your own?
No, that's the reason I got rid of the phaser, because they do fall.
Okay.
I got all Voyagers now.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I mean, we have a recipe that works, but I need to make sure we get better about incorporating these vendors. Like I said, Hazen's a great one. The Green Ox is a phenomenal product, and golly, I love hearing him talk about it. I try and find as many ways as possible to incorporate that product if I can, because it is so cool and so unique. Like roof washing, Thinking about how we need to incorporate that just to wash roofs in general, and pricing we could do for it, and things that calculations I can give you guys to just better go say, hey, let's just make this simple. It's going to be X amount of dollars, and I've got this tool to calculate how many dollars this roof wash is going to be with this product. So now we're profitable. We've already got our product cost calculated and so forth. It's easy peasy, and you guys don't have to think about it. But that's work that I can do with said vendor to get that tool to you guys. The gutters. I mean, he hasn't had a chance to give his presentation, but the gutter tool. I mean, there's been many times, I'm sure in Raleigh, you find where you're like, man, it's extremely unsafe on the backside of this house, and I don't know if I want my guys doing this. You might do it yourself because you're confident in your ability, and you can maybe lead and get these guys to do it. But the risk factor, is it worth it?
Do that. Because if you do them like, I can do this, y'all can't.
Then it becomes
then they're going to be like, you can do it, I can. And then they're putting themselves in
it becomes a recurring cycle that you're never going to get out of. 30 years down the road, you're going to still be that guy that's going to, hey guys, call me when you get to that job. I'll help you guys through it. And you don't want that because you want your time freedom. That's the goal, is time freedom, and utilizing someone like him that has a great tool to do things safely, and even make some great content with, I'm sure. As far as just getting those wowing the customer, showing them the technologies we have is great. The chemicals, like I said, I go back to we've got two lovely chemical vendors here, and learning about all the different products that we have over there that are at our disposal. But yeah, incorporating these guys into your daily routine is great. Having them is such a vital tool in your toolbox. You might not make phone calls to them every single day, but it's great to have them whenever you need it. I know someone that's not here, Tim. Tim, great guy. Man, he's got so much knowledge, and he has helped me out so much because he always picks up my phone call, and he's another very respectful, great guy. But just because I'm not buying something from him at that moment doesn't mean he's not going to help me through my situation. And we might even just talk about his kids for a little bit, or what's going on in life. He's just such a great guy to have. And these vendors are so important because, like I said, if you get yourself in a pickle, I don't have all the knowledge I like to, but these folks are here to help you and not just sell you something. That's it. They will sell you something like six phasers, but they also are there to help you and educate you on the product and how to utilize that tool, because we all want each other to be successful. Ken, God, he's not here right now either, but he's got so much knowledge, and he wants everyone to sell as many lights as possible. I want everyone to sell lights like crazy. That's a goal this year for us, is to how do we take it to the next level. I think Lewis is doing a good job of that, and Ken is just so eager to get us there, and he's chomping at the bit to get us to that next level. I feel like he's given us so much knowledge that people would want to charge you for, kind of gatekeep and say, hey, I'm gonna maybe just try and keep it from you. But he's just a wealth of knowledge. But great vendors, great resources. You should have their numbers, because if you need something, they're there to help, and also get you product in a pinch if needed.
Yeah, and I've gone out and found some vendors. Reece has done a good job of going out and finding our vendors too. And we find the guys that definitely they're good at sales, but they're not salesy, right? They want to help you guys. Sales is about one thing, and most people get it wrong. Sales is about serving the other person. And that's part of the reason why I gave you guys that book, The Go-Giver. I want you guys to read that. If you haven't read it already, read it 15 times before you jump into the next one, which is The Go-Giver Sells More. Because you start to comprehend with this book the relationship building that he does, and how he gives and gives and gives. When you give, you receive more, okay? When your employees spend that $1, they give it, and they earn more from that $1. If they do it in the right way with your mentorship, by following the skills in that book, you watch what happens. Conversations are different. Conversations between you and your employees are different. Conversations between you and your vendors are going to be different. The conversations between your employees and the customers is going to be way different, right? Because they're going to now start to serve the customer. They're not going to be selfish about it. And that's one thing that I will say Reese's guys are really, really good about. They're not selfish. Those guys are not selfish. They're not. Lewis has a batch of good guys too. Some could be better, right? But I can tell you the ones that are definitely not self-centered, okay? And when you find those bad apples, right, you don't have to get rid of them. You just depend on your leaders to get rid of them for you, right? And we've talked about it a bunch of times, okay? Now, so we've got good vendors. Next thing I want to talk about is customer retention. Turning customers in to really just customers that are raving fans, okay? How do we do that, Reece?
How do it all starts with your team. I think that if you have a great group of guys that go out there and perform at the highest level and give those customers everything they're asking and are extremely polite, have those skills that you're constantly teaching them, I mean, it's a no-brainer. They're gonna come back. I mean, just yesterday, I got a text, talked about how polite the guys were. The service could have been great. They might have maybe missed a window, but if they're polite, that customer is 10 times more, likely to just be like, you know what, those were a great group of guys that are extremely personable, and they're gonna want to resolve that issue in a way better manner than just blowing up. So now they did miss a window. They did a great job, but having just a great group of guys that go out and perform, look good, do the great service, have the customer service, and are there just to serve those customers, you're going to have customers for life. Being fair, that's so important, is just giving that customer the value, but being fair to them. Treating them like you'd want to be treated, ultimately, and not beating them over the head.
That's a good one.
You're not there to hit a home run on the customer and just have it be a one-time thing and then move on to the next. Some people operate like that, and it truly baffles me. It's extremely disrespectful, but all our guys get that. They're there to be that's fair and just do a good job. But yeah, I mean that is the customer. And if you do what you say you're going to do, like just your word is so important. So if you tell somebody you're going to be there at 8 to 8:30, and you're there, that's just already starting off on the right foot.
Jill, don't we find that to be a truth when we tell our customers we're going to have an arrival window of 8:30? Man, they're calling us at 8:40 if they're not there. How often does that happen? I mean, it happens, right? But
yeah.
And it's not. Is it a good conversation or a bad conversation?
Depends. If we know. Like sometimes the communication with us rescheduling a customer that got a no-show and a no-call, that's a bit hostile. And so, we have to de-escalate that. Because it's communication, people are so much more, receiving of, just being on top of that. Just, valuing their time as well. They really appreciate that. And that's where we come in as really great customer service, driven company when we do those little special things like that really, you care for the customer the entire way through.
Yeah, it's all about service. Remember that. You're serving your clients, right? But you're serving yourself as well. Okay?
Hey, Gabe,
Yes.
real quick. I'm just going to mention this. So I know most of you aren't cleaning windows anymore, but I can tell you once all of you got off the truck, we still get you quite a bit. You all were doing something amazing because those customers, I want JJ to come out. I want Randy to come
Yeah.
out. I mean, it takes years.
Yep.
Last customer. Right?
You want those customers
I did.
because of the way you served them. He has them because of the way he served
Yep.
them. You
Yep.
all have them, and we still get customers that ask and want one of you guys out there.
Mhm.
So you all have done something amazing, and all you have to do is pass that knowledge on.
Pass
to
it
your
on.
employees.
Yep, she's right. Pass it on. And that's part of what I'm talking to you guys about, right? That's why we're having these conversations. We'll get into sales, and we'll get into some more stuff tomorrow, but you know what? It's just, you guys got to understand that these guys that we have today, I mean, I've been in this for 33 years, man. The generations change about every decade, right? If not faster now. right? It seems like every 5 years it's changing, right? So, but the basics are still the basics, right? You can't avoid the basics. And that's what this is. It's basics, right? Learning that you got to, hey, teach you guys, we've got to serve the client, okay? Service, it's all about service, okay? And they got to serve you guys too. And when you start teaching them on a regular basis, the respect, the communication, the power of serving, then they do those things that they literally go to war for you, okay? Now, speaking of war, who in here loves and is a raving fan of Google? Are you a raving fan of them?
I used to all the time.
You use them all the time?
All the time.
All the time.
I love it.
I love Google.
I love it.
Do you love Bing? She's like, no. What about Yahoo? You like them? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I'm an Ask Jeeves kind of guy.
Ask Jeeves. All right. So I think
I don't even know what that is.
Dude, trust me, I was around and that was a thing. Oh yeah.
Let's go way back.
now I'm going to talk about this some more, and you're going to continue here, and you're going to be like, man, I wish you'd stop about it. But listen, we're all fans of Google, right? Why?
It works.
It works. They're number one, right? Okay. Number one requires some stuff. They require information. Now, Reece, studies suggest that in just a few years, 4 years or less, videos will surpass written content as the primary way people consume information. With its unmatched engagement, visual appeal, and accessibility, especially on social platforms, video is rapidly becoming the preferred format, okay? Now, Google thrives on delivering high quality, engaging content to their users. That's their business, right? So, considering this shift, can you share your perspective on how showcasing your team's services through video impacts your business?
Oh man, it's almost like I had a crystal ball, because that was like one of the things coming into this year that I had already like written on my list for, just what I needed to do this year. I feel like I saw the writing on the wall. Like, it is what it is. That everything's got a short, everything's got some sort of narrated content explaining what's going on. And my philosophy is, if we're not going to do it, somebody else is going to do it. And so it might as well be us to capture those eyeballs. Let's get after it, is all I can say.
Yeah. I'm bringing this to you guys because I had somebody bring it to me the other day, and I didn't engage him and ask him about it. But it's somebody that I've been working with and just having some conversations with. And it was funny because some of the things that he was saying to me, I was like, yeah, I know that too. But sometimes you know the answer, but you just don't actually do anything with that information, right? And then sometimes you just wake up and you're sitting there going, where'd all my leads go? Where'd my customers go, right? Oh, Jimmy died last week. Oh, Jan, she died the week before. Oh, Julio, he died 3 weeks before that, right? Your customers do get old. Sometimes they move out of their 10,000 square foot homes into a 1,200 square foot retirement home. They leave you, right? Not because they didn't love you, but they leave you because they had to, right? And so if you're not gaining more customers constantly, then you are going to be falling behind, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we don't want that for these guys.
No,
not at all, right? Because we love our guys and we want to serve our guys, right?
absolutely.
And that's what we're about, okay? So, and we're passing all this information down to you because I know you guys get value out of it, and I know that if you start to hear it enough, maybe you'll do something about it. I'm here to just pass on information. I'm like Google. If I find the answers, I will give it to you. I will encourage you. I want you guys to succeed. I know what it takes to succeed and for you guys to be outranking everybody else. I know what it takes for you guys to surpass the $1 million mark. I know what it takes to do all of these things to have you guys live the life that you guys want to live. And I think you want the same thing that I want for these guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, if Randy wants to go take 3 weeks off every January, hey man, we love it for you. We're game on, right? And Randy can depend on the fact that, hey, he's still going to have his guys out there rocking and rolling. But if we don't give him the tools, right, then he can't be successful. If you guys don't give your teams the tools to be successful, then they won't, right?
No.
So who here can honestly say they're getting a photo and a video from their teams every single day?
from the whole team?
Hey, if you got
Not
18,
from every single truck, but it's like the video thing. Like I get pictures from every truck every day,
okay?
but a video is probably like 1 or 2 of the trucks, depending on what
Okay.
they're doing that day.
Who else?
Not every day.
Right? But see how every day, you will never get tomorrow back. You guys will never get today back, right? And I'm hoping that I gave you guys enough value and information that you guys can take today and say, hey man, I'm going to do all these things and be successful tomorrow, right? Or we don't, and then now you're 2 days behind, right?
Yeah.
I think Reece kind of looks at it that way, and he's taught me some stuff. Like Reece has definitely taught me some stuff. The way his outlook on certain things, it's really, really cool to see, right? Because he wants to see, you want to see these guys win.
Yeah, I mean, I tell this to everybody. I tell this to our technicians, and I really do, I think, drill it into their head. But, you know, I want to be the best. We want to be the best as a whole. That is the ultimate goal. You know, we want to be the number one window cleaning company. We have a lot of work to do, but, you know, if we start small, and I obviously see my guys all the time, so I emphasize that every day. You know, because there's times that folks look at us and go, well, why are we doing this? It's like because the next guy's not going to do it, and we're going to be the guys that get it done. We make a lot of things happen. So, yeah, and I want you guys to all have that same mentality of we need to be those guys that are going to do what nobody else is going to do, and just be the best. Whether it's from customer service to the physical service side of things, to, you know, just leadership. I mean, it's a lot of things that I try and emphasize or carry that into. I mean, I value feedback significantly, and I try and, like I said, we carry that into the leadership, especially figure out where other people are, what their shortcomings are, and where we can excel at. But yeah.
We want you guys to get better. We want your guys to get better, right? We want everybody to win. It's always got to be a win-win, okay? JJ, you and I came from a situation where it wasn't always a win-win, right? And then you split. Next thing you know, I split, right? Because if the other person is winning, if I'm always winning and you guys aren't, you're not going to be with me very long, right? If I'm always winning and you're not winning, Blake, you ain't going to stay with me long.
You're not winning.
But if you're winning, and I know you're winning, and I'm winning, man, it's a great relationship, okay? And I always look for you guys to win first. I eat last, and I'm okay with that, okay? But I know when you're winning, if I have to eat last, at least I'm gonna eat, okay? It's gonna be delayed, but hey, delayed gratification, all right? And that's why this small group is super important to me. Yeah, we're gonna grow. We're gonna get more locations, right? Will I have the same relationship with them that I have with you guys? Probably not, right? But I'm gonna love those guys. I'm gonna give them the information. I'm gonna make sure that they're successful, okay? Because I know if they're successful, then it's gonna come back to you guys in a successful way as well, all right? Now, one more thing, and I'm gonna open this up some little Q&A for Reece, but we definitely appreciate all these guys being here today.
Absolutely.
And our job, would you agree, is to just make sure that we're providing them all the information that they need so they can go out and do those things and be successful.
Absolutely.
And we want success to look like what for them?
Oh man.
3 months into ED.
3 months
That's
into
right.
ED sounds just great. There you go.
That's exactly right. He got it.
I mean, ultimately the success is, I think what everyone's after is time freedom. They want that time and financial freedom. Whichever is more important to you, I'll leave it to you guys. But ultimately, as an owner, you want your time because that is the most valuable thing on this planet. You're never going to get it back. You can't make more of it.
Powerful. Yep. All right. Now, who has questions for Reece?
I talked to everybody enough. They probably can't have any more questions for me. Other than Phaser or Voyager. We could go ahead and just open up the submissions. Phaser or Voyager? Who's on what boat?
I'm on Phasers. Origin. You guys provide more phasers than anybody.
Oh, man.
And apparently now you know it's because Randy's over here stepping on them and picking them. It's Randy single-handedly funding ABC.
He's found the mystery.
Yeah.
The Voyager, we got a new one, the TS mount. It's exact same filters as the phaser, but they're all laid out on a frame you could mount directly to the side of a skid. That's one thing in an
Oh wow.
ability to talk about. Brand new, just came out like 2 months ago. Exact same filters, vertical positions. You don't have to bleed the excess RO air that's trapped in there. It automatically purges out. Wonderful. We did it for that reason. Same thing as Voyager. That's it. Questions for Reece?
Hey, how's that, the new Descender working? Not the Tetsu.
Great. I love it. I used it, funny enough, the other day. I think it's very simple. I haven't had any wearing on it, and actually we just finished up a job that had 58 drops and not a single complaint. I think our last Petzl still is starting to slip a little bit, but I won't buy. I mean, and that thing just feels robust. Like I have confidence just in how it feels.
How does that handle wet rope?
Wet rope, it probably did good because I didn't get a phone call when I told the guys to get up there Friday and pull their ropes out of the snow and start working. So those ropes were frozen, they were saturated, they had to go to the side of the building to thaw out, and I didn't get a single phone call, and the job got done Saturday. So
I got Reece and
yeah, the Petzl does have issues with wet ropes. I know that. It's slow to say the least, and it's loud.
It took me about 30 minutes to get down a 5-story building.
Well, it would go slow.
It would
but
just-
go real fast.
Mine wouldn't even do that. It would just, I had to just
Loose.
Oh.
feed it.
Yeah, because you just go slow.
Oh man. No
Um,
bueno. Huh. Interesting. Interesting.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I test my safety like 10 times before I commit. I had to rely on it one time.
Yeah,
good.
but that's a good instance. Like it worked. We know it works, and I use that example. Any mistake, like I go back to it, any mistakes that have been made, that's a training. That's a learning incident for sure. Like it's instilled confidence in Connor and everyone else. I hate it had to be you to figure that out, but you're safe, you're alive, you're here, and now all my guys know that safety works.
Yeah, you want to talk about I didn't set my back up like that. I start descending, the descender falls apart, and the safety catches me. And I'm just standing there like, oh.
Oh man.
Trying to call him, and it fell 8 stories and smashed.
Oh.
Luckily, I had my Bluetooth headphones on, and we were able to connect to another phone. And he's telling me like, "Oh, you're gonna have to tie knots.
Oh man.
Climb yourself up, re-rack the rack, and then go down." I drank so much tequila after that.
But we got you out of the situation. And I'm just sitting there, comfy, cozy in my truck, driving down 26. I was like, Jesus Christ, man. I think I was headed back to the office. I remember that one. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I told everyone so much. Shoot, I got more questions probably for the vendors than they get these folks have for me.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, no.
All right, look, we went a little long. We got dinner at 6 o'clock. Is that right? 6:30. Okay, so I'm gonna.
And we have gutters tomorrow.
Yep, we got gutters. He's here. We can go do some demos today too. I mean, we can
Because I think
spray.
we're all interested in seeing how the system works.
We can spray chemical out there and see some of that stuff, man. But yeah, we definitely need to spend some time with Kim. He's got a good system, man. I mean, it is really good. It's a little bulky, so we'd have to kind of figure something out. But I think that's our biggest
Are
challenge.
those the only two systems that they come in right now? The one there and then the one that's up there?
Electric, 230 volt electric.
Is that the electric one right there? That's the electric one?
Yeah, that's the 100.
One of my goals is literally a box truck.
A van or something, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like that system, honestly, can probably be beneficial for somebody like you. Because I feel like you do give me some phone calls where you're like, dude, the back of this house is
Yeah.
pretty
I would-
gnarly.
I would-
Honestly, to blow a roof on the majority of the Raleigh houses and be OSHA safe, you need a 4-side.
Well,
Yeah.
that can be a blower, can it not?
Yeah.
Because you just flip the fitting and
Because you gotta have the ladder 3 feet above the roof line to access the roof, but most of the 2-story, like 2,000, 3,000 square foot houses, you have the 32 fully extended.
But I would say
Barely.
with
Yeah.
you're on the ground from the gutters. I mean, how much safer can that be?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and I know we'll get into this tomorrow, but like I said, I probably have more questions for the vendors. But like your system, you use it yourself,
Yeah.
and you're out doing, selling jobs and doing the jobs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, are you pricing accordingly for the cost of that equipment? Like, I mean, I'm sure it's not a cheap setup by no means.
Well, I bought a smaller system, and I've already paid for what the work I've done with it. But it also is a wet dry vac, so I've used quite a little bit on inside for drying up.
Pressure washing,
Yeah.
maybe? Yeah, that's a good idea. Now that is actually something that's very valuable, because there's many times when you have to recapture that water. Like I know Pat's probably had to do it in Nashville with parking garages, and it's not fun by no means. But no, I mean, so we'll dive into that a little bit tomorrow. I don't want to.
Cool. All right, so 6:30
6:30
Terrazzo's, right? I think we got an hour. You guys can go freshen up and
Reece called Mike and we should come.
No, he's off today.
Give it up for Reece.
yeah, give it up, Reece.